I'm useless, I'm worthless, I'm a failure, I can't get anything right, nobody loves me. These are sentences often heard by us, which are said by small children or adults around us all the time. I'm Riri Trivedi. I'm a mental health practitioner, a therapist and a trainer, as well as a researcher. And today I'm going to talk about healthy shame and toxic shame, especially from the point of view of parenting. This video is a part of the series of Pathways to Positive Parenting, where I share a lot of research-based content for parents which can help them towards positive parenting. So let us understand today about healthy shame and toxic shame. Shame, like all other emotions that we experience, anger, fear, helplessness, guilt, is a part of that group of negative emotions. And while all of us experience shame, guilt, anger, fear, we need to know that in little proportion, in small proportion, these emotions are essential for our child to survive in the society. But when do these emotions become toxic is something that we need to understand. So healthy shame is an emotion that a child experiences and needs to experience if the child needs to survive in a organized, civilized society. Because healthy shame allows a child to be functional in a societal setup. But the toxic shame makes a child feel completely hopeless, worthless, useless. And toxic shame can be so debilitating that a child can become highly dysfunctional as an adult because of toxic shame. So let us understand today what is the difference between healthy shame, what does it do, what is toxic shame, what does it do, and what are the outcomes of both, and as parents, what can we do about this? Healthy shame is basically where a child is taught by the parents to be conscious or to be aware of certain actions or behaviors that the child is doing that are not appropriate or not okay for the child to live harmoniously in a society. So healthy shame is where, for example, if a child spills something or a child throws something on the road and the parents say this is not okay, you should not spoil the floor, or you should not dirty a public place, or you should not be speaking to somebody in this manner. So healthy shame essentially does three things. It focuses on the child's action. What action has the child done which is not okay, and what can be corrected or what can be done differently by the child. So healthy shame does not focus on attacking the child's character, but it basically focuses on telling the child what was not okay and what can be done differently. Healthy shame motivates the child to change, because when there is healthy shame, the child understands that, okay, I can do something differently, I can do something better, and if I didn't do something right, it is not okay, there are consequences, and so I can do something better. So healthy shame essentially motivates a child in a positive way to change. And the third important element of healthy shame teaches empathy and social awareness. So when we are communicating shame in a healthy way, the child understands that my actions have an impact on other people. And so I need to be aware of what I am doing because it is affecting others. So healthy shame has three benefits. It focuses on the action of the child, which is the problem, and not the child's personality. It pushes or motivates the child for a positive change, and it builds empathy and social awareness amongst the child. Versus this, let us understand what toxic shame does. So toxic shame is when parents routinely humiliate, shame, and abuse the child for whatever the child did wrong. We know that in the growing up years, children are bound to make mistakes. They are going to do all kinds of things that they should not do because their brain is growing, they are learning things. But in the process, when parents continuously find the fault with the child and do not focus on the mistake but focus on the character of the child, that you are a problem, that is where toxic shame starts. So for example, if a small child has spilled the milk, and if the parent says, you're so sloppy, you're always spilling the milk, then the child believes that there is something wrong with me. But if the parent says, okay, it's okay, it happens, let's see how we can clean it up, then the child learns that I can do something better. So toxic shame basically makes a child feels attacked, at a core level. The child feels, I am flawed, I am useless, I cannot get it right. This happens all the time when parents are continuously saying, comparing the child or telling the child, you're sloppy, you're slow, you're not good at math, look at your sister, she's smarter than you, you're always embarrassing me, you're always humiliating me. So the attack is on the child and not on the child's action. The second thing that toxic shame does is it basically teaches the child to hate himself or herself. So the child develops fear, extreme fear about trying out anything new, about learning new things, about doing new things. And whenever a child makes mistake, the child is now going to hate himself or herself. Because of this extreme fear of trying out new things, the fear of being judged by other people, fear of failure, the child now does not develop the creativity and open-mindedness that is required for a child to do well in life. And because of this self-loathing, the child now starts becoming highly critical of himself or herself, can also become highly judgmental, can develop an inner critic which is so strong that the child will not do anything without getting assurance from parents or adults. And oftentimes as adults, such children who've grown up in a lot of fear and self-criticism can become procrastinators, can become highly perfectionists, can have OCD or compulsive kind of behaviors, and can also develop social anxiety because of the fear of being judged by other people. Toxic shame discourages children for any positive change, because obviously when children are constantly attacked at a core level, at their character level, they will not be motivated to learn from their mistakes. In fact, they will internalize this feeling that I will always make mistakes and I will never get better. And hence they have no motivation to improve or change. Toxic shame also completely dents the confidence of a child. So usually children have confidence when they fall and get up from their failures, when they fall down and get up, when they fail and they learn from their failures. But when there is toxic shame, the child is so scared to fail and fall that the child does not learn anything, and hence there is lack of confidence, there is lack of problem solving skills, and the children also have a very, very poor sense of self-worth, which eventually affects them as adults in their careers and also in their social life. Toxic shame also makes a person feel that I am inadequate, I can never get it right. And incidentally, toxic shame also is a key element when we assess clients for complex PTSD. Toxic shame is an outcome of parents who are extremely verbally abusive. It can also be an outcome of emotional neglect. So children whose emotional needs are neglected. So if a child is coming running to the mom and crying, oh, my friends hit me, or I was bullied, and the mother says, oh, you're always whining, go away, get lost, I have no time for you, you're always cribbing, you're a complaint box. This is when the child also experiences toxic shame, that my emotions are not worthy to be heard of or to be acknowledged. Sometimes even teachers do this unknowingly. So when a teacher makes a child stand up in the class and the whole class laughs at the child, or when the teacher humiliates a child or punishes the child in front of the class, that is also when the child feels that I wish I became invisible, I wish I didn't exist, and this is the beginning of toxic shame. Sometimes children cope up with toxic shame by trying to be perfectionists and overachievers. But this in turn also comes with a set of problems, because this leads to severe anxiety, sometimes social anxiety, compulsive behaviors. And while perfectionism may give results in the short run, in the long run, it does cause a lot of mental health issues, including breakdown, panic attacks, and anxiety and depression. Toxic shame can manifest, or the symptoms of toxic shame can be multiple. At a physical level, when a person experiences toxic shame, there is sweating, there is palpitations, the heart rate goes up, there is blushing, there is nausea, sweating, and their body posture changes, like as if they want to shrink and they want to disappear, right? The psychological impact can, like I said, of course, involve social anxiety, depression, panic attacks, lot of self-criticism, negative thoughts, and a complete breakdown of their functionality. And emotional responses may include extreme fear, loneliness, social isolation, detachment from other people, not being able to emotionally connect to the near and dear ones. Remember, extreme toxic shame can also lead to self-harming behaviors as well as suicides, because self-harming behaviors also happen when a child has a lot of hatred for himself or herself, cannot handle negative emotions, or feel very, very angry at himself or herself. So toxic shame is also linked to self-harming behaviors as well as suicides. So how do we foster healthy shame amongst children? This is a common question parents ask, and these are the 3 things that you can do as parents. One is, every time a child makes a mistake, focus on the behavior, not the child. Do not in your words and actions say that the child is a problem, but keep focusing on what the child has done wrong and give solutions to the child how that can be fixed. So if the child has spilt milk, then say, okay, this happens, let's see how we can clean this up. If the child has told a lie, then you say that telling lie is not good because it can affect other people and they may not trust you. So now what can we do so that we have the courage to speak the truth? So focus on the action, not on the child or the character. Second is, use a lot of I statements. So whenever you are pointing out the child's mistakes, do not say you are doing wrong, you did this, you are a problem. Say, I am noticing that you are doing this, or I feel that this can be done differently. So please focus on the solutions and the lessons by using I language, not you language. The third thing is, let your child know that every mistake is an opportunity for corrections, is an opportunity to learn, because every mistake has lessons that the child has to learn, and children will make mistakes. That is also something they need to know. Mistakes can happen at every age, but they are only a means to learn. They are just a different experience. That does not mean that you are flawed as a person. This is the 3 things that parents need to do whenever they are disciplining their children. These are some of the scenarios or some of the ways that parents generally instill toxic shame, and let me summarize them for you. One is when they are shaming the child for making mistakes, like you spilled the milk, you've ruined the place and you are sloppy. Second is when the parent is giving conditional love to the child. So if you don't get marks, I don't love you. If you don't behave, I'm not going to give you a hug. So even giving conditional love or withdrawing love is also a way of making the child feel and experience toxic shame that I am not loved. Third is when the child is humiliated in public, when the parents taunt and shame the child in front of people. See, let us show when the child has done badly in exams, you call all the friends and relatives and ask the child to show the report card. See what you have done, let's show everybody how you have done in your exams. Or humiliating the child in front of people by making fun of the child and the child's mistakes in front of friends, relatives, or guests who are in the house. This is also causing toxic shame amongst children. Third is when you are making negative comparisons, like I said, with siblings, with cousins, with friends, that she is good and you can't ever get it right, or you will never be able to be like your cousin, or you are just not going to reach there, something like that. And the last is, like I said, withdrawing love from the child and making it conditional, and making the child believe that only if he or she does something, she will get love of the parent. These are all the different ways that we as parents unknowingly, unconsciously communicate or make the child feel toxic shame. And these are the children who will grow up with all these words and phrases like, I am worthless, I am a failure, I deserve to be cheated upon, I don't deserve to live, I can never get it right, I will never succeed, I am unlovable, everything is my fault, nobody likes me, I deserve to be treated this way, I wish I was never born, I wish I became invisible, I wish I disappeared, I wish I didn't exist, I don't deserve anything good in life. These are all the different thoughts and words related to toxic shame. So now let us understand the different ways in which we can help our children who have toxic shame. First is, because toxic shame is related to low self-worth, the first thing we must do is teach self-love to the children, which means teach the children how they can love themselves. How do you teach them? By first appreciating whatever they did right versus focusing more on what they did wrong. So for every mistake that you correct, make sure that you also appreciate the child or acknowledge what the child did right. Also, use different activities like art or journaling or letter writing for a little older children, and ask them to write letters appreciating their own selves. They can even do the mirror exercise where they can look in the mirror and say 5 good things about what they feel about themselves. Guided imagery and visualizations using auto-suggestions is another very powerful way to override these files of toxic shame. And I have made a separate video on it. It is called Ways to Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind. Do check out that video where I have explained the entire process of how you can reprogram your children's subconscious mind using guided imagery, auto-suggestions and visualizations. So doing affirmations with visualizations is another very, very good method. The third method is encourage your child to, interact socially. And whenever a child makes mistakes, like I said, focus on always the lessons to be learned. If there is already toxic shame and if none of these methods work, then please take professional help where the child can, go to a psychotherapist or a counselor and use different methods to, heal from this toxic shame. Because remember that toxic shame can make a person dysfunctional, even as an adult, in relationships, in careers, and in personal life. So it has to be recognized, it has to be healed, it has to be corrected. But of course, prevention is better than cure, and hence I hope this video was helpful to you as parents. I hope that you can change some of the ways in which you communicate to your child, and I hope that you enjoy your parenting journey while listening to some of these videos and make the right corrections. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, follow and share. And also don't forget to write in the comments if you are experiencing any of these different ways of toxic shame that I have mentioned. And also do not forget to write in the comments if you are making a change already with your child and communicating shame in a healthier way. I would love to hear from all of you.